Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my face. I really appreciate it. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back and thank you for your continuing support. Speaking of support, please like, subscribe, and share this video. As you can see by the title, today we're talking about lessons I'm learning as a new mom. And it's so fitting because my son is not feeling well and refuses to get out of my arms. So he's joining us today.
Hi.
He is 2.5 years old, and over the last couple of years, I've really changed. So I'll be sharing 5 of the ways I've changed these past few years. As you watch this video, please keep an open mind. I only have one son and he's 2. So obviously I hope to continue to change as I gain more wisdom and experience in this area. In the Bible, God uses the relationship between a parent and a child to symbolize our relationship with Him as our Father. So it's no surprise that my journey as a mother has been full of both spiritual and practical lessons. The first lesson that motherhood is teaching me is to trust God. Before having kids, I would have said, oh yes, I trust God. But in reality, I only trusted Him when I was in a controlled environment. Now I definitely realize I am not in control. God is the one calling the shots, from conception to birth and all our lives. Psalms 139 says, before you were formed in the womb, God knew you. And the same applies to our children. Before we even thought about our kids, God knew when they would come, what their names would be, and what they would be like. He gave us these children as a gift and then gave us the responsibility to teach and train them. Psalms 127 verse 1 says, children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. Our children came from God and belong to God. So no matter how many parenting books you read, no matter how many workshops you go to, no matter how many YouTube videos you watch, God is the one in control of every outcome. And He truly does a much better job than we ever could. When my son was 13 days old, he stopped eating and had a high fever. Immediately took him to the hospital and they poked him, drew his blood, and then diagnosed him with bacterial meningitis. He contacted this during my delivery, and because of oversight on the hospital, we were never treated. Then he went to the NICU for a week and needed antibiotics for 2 weeks with the central line placed in his chest. All things I could not control. But God whispered in my ear one night during a breastfeeding session, and He said, this illness will not end in death. And since that time, I recognize how God cares more about my child than I do, and I will trust Him. The second thing I'm learning as a new mom is patience. Slower is really better. I am a hurry up type of person. If something needs to be done, it needs to be done now, but not with motherhood. It seemed that the more I hurried, the longer things took. And the more likely I was to do it wrong and have to do it again. Like, you can't rush breastfeeding. You gotta sit there as long as that baby wants to eat. And getting out the house, it's like my son will pick up on the hurry and move even slower. But in the grand scheme of things, parenting requires great patience. And slower really is better. It takes time to teach and train and disciple our children, like the Bible tells us to. It takes time to teach them how to clean their rooms and how to tie their shoes and how to read and write. We all heard that saying that children grow so fast and that they're only little people for such a short amount of time. Being anxious and trying to hurry up only made me irritated and annoying to the people around me. Our home is much happier when I hold my plans loosely and make whatever I'm doing at that current moment my most important priority. As opposed to trying to hurry off to the next thing. Go to the bathroom. This video is taking me twice as long to record. The third thing I'm learning as a mom is to live the life I want for my children. As parents, we have to teach our children the most basic rules of life. You find yourself saying things like, eat your veggies so you can grow big and strong. And then you think to yourself, when was the last time I had a full serving of vegetables? When my son first started eating solids, I was making all of his food from home. Fresh, nutrient-dense, real foods. But when I would look at my dinner, full of processed ingredients and sodium, I was convicted. The same way I want my son to make healthy choices regarding food and physical movement, I need to do it too. The same way I want him to love reading books more than he likes social media or watching TV, had me reading and writing a little bit more. Being a mom has raised the standard of my lifestyle choices so that my son can see me living a life of integrity. I don't want to be the type of mom that's always hiding Cheetos and candies from my kids while I eat every bit of it myself, or adding water to his juice to dilute it but drinking a sugary caffeinated Mountain Dew on the slide. I want to genuinely practice what I preach. The fourth thing I'm learning on my motherhood journey is that motherhood exposes your flaws. My 2-year-old is a talker. I mean, he literally said the word ball loud and clear at 5 months old and has not stopped talking ever since. As him and I begin to converse, I noticed him saying things that sounded weird coming from his little mouth. And I wonder, where did he get that from? Like the first time I heard him say, "Give me that." I'm like, who do you think you talking to? And where are your manners? Well, guess what? I caught myself saying the very next day as I snatched something out of his hand. "Give me that." As parents, we must understand that more is caught than is taught. I taught him to say yes, no, please, and thank you. But when he heard me saying, "Give me that," that stuck a little bit more than the manners. So it showed the flaws in me and how impolite I can be. Similar to the last point, I want to practice what I preach. If I want him to be kind and practice the fruit of the Spirit, then I need to demonstrate it to him, not just tell him. Okay, my last point for today, and trust me, there are so many more, but like I said, I summed it up into 5. This one is actually my favorite, and it's to find joy in the original. Children want to read the same stories and watch the same shows over and over again. Everything is new to them, so it takes a while for them to get tired of something. I had to start liking the stories that we read and the songs that I heard, or otherwise I would drive myself crazy. I also had to find joy in things like staying at home and missing out on certain events. One of the goals I have as a wife and a mom is to make our home a place that we want to be, somewhere that we look forward to coming home to. And I've learned that the only way to really love and want to be home is to be at home. I had to find joy in my natural nails. Otherwise, I would spend hours at the nail salon instead of taking my son to story time. I had to be comfortable with the messy living room so that I'm not always fussing about cleanup and I can sit and enjoy the toys and the clutter as I'm teaching and training and bonding with my child. Children rock your whole world in the best, most satisfying way possible. If I constantly push myself to be the well put together diva that I once was and still am, I would miss so many valuable moments with my family. If I entertain FOMO, I would constantly be ripping and running instead of raising my son. And I take this responsibility very seriously. Like I said, this is a new process for me, and I recognize that there are different seasons of parenting. I'm so looking forward to learning and growing through each season and sharing that process with y'all. That's all I have for you today. Comment below and share with us some of your lessons from motherhood. Thank you for watching. Bye.